Good morning, 8th grade Wildcats. Today's math standard is Geometry and Measurement 8.GM.2. Solve real-world and other mathematical problems involving volume of cones, spheres, and pyramids, and surface area of spheres. The question is the volume of a sphere, V, with radius r, is given by the formula shown. Volume equals 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. Ariana has a ball with a diameter of 12 inches. What is the volume in cubic inches of the ball? Before you begin answering your questions, let's talk a little bit about the testing environment again. The iLearn is a little different than iStep in the past, and it may or may not have a time limit the same as iStep did. So in that case, we need to be respectful to our peers that are still testing. So during a practice session or the actual session, we want to make sure that there's no talking, that we're staying seated, that there are no passes in or out of class, that you're working independently, and that when you are finished, you're not moving on until the time is up. And that may look like just sitting there quietly and waiting for others to finish. You will not be able to get out a book or get out pencil and paper to draw or to color or anything else. So part of why we're practicing this is not only to practice the questions, but also to practice the testing environment. So the time limit may not be as long as you need, or you may feel it's not long enough. And so we are not only practicing just for the questions, like I said, but we're practicing on getting ready for the testing environment. So really work on sitting quietly until the time is up and making sure you're being respectful to those that are still testing. Be sure to write down the question, show all work. You have 10 minutes. You may begin. time is up. Let's take a look at the answer. The volume of a sphere V with a radius r is given by the formula shown. V equals 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. Ariana has a ball with a diameter of 12 inches. What is the volume in cubic inches of the ball? So as you can see, we have to use the radius, and so if we're given the diameter, we have to divide the diameter by 2. So our radius is 6 inches. So then we plug that into our formula, so 4/3 times 3.14, we're going to use that as our approximation for pi, and then 6 to the third power, which means 6 times 6 times 6, or 6 times itself 3 times. So 4/3 times 3.14 times 216, and then 3.14 times 216 is 678 and 24/100ths times 4 and then divided by 3. So we have 2,712.96 divided by 3 is approximately 904.32 cubic inches. Now if you used the pi button on a calculator, that would change your answer to the nearest tenth or hundredth or one value, depending on the number that you chose to use for pi. Most often we use the approximation of 3.14. So your answer may not be exact, but if it is close within a few digits, then you are accurate. The day of the test, you're going to look at the directions to see what is given to use for the approximation of pi.